I was on mute, so apologies for anybody who was staring at all the things I was maybe saying. Let's start over when you can actually hear me. Here's my shirt for today. Do do do. Because today is going to be a good day. Okay, back to work. Now, what I was saying. Thanks. I like it. I dig it. It's kind of like the existential crisis of the world right now, all summed up in a cute shirt. But what I was saying that you guys couldn't hear because I was on mute, for sure. Let's see if I can. I really need to finish getting the other software set up so that I can control Zoom and things. Letting this load up. But this hopefully is the final Sister Night badge. It's really hard to tell. Like, that's the one thing when something is all a single color, it's really hard to tell, to see the details. It looks like it captured all the details. Usually my trick is I put like a wash on something, but if this is the final, then I don't want to necessarily put a wash on it that I'm going to have to then... I went too far. Come on. I wish this focus on this thing had the ability to have a little bit more fine control. It's like a slider bar, which is not the best way to control focus on the camera, in my opinion. Can't tell if I'm... That's not it. Back the other way, back the other way, back the other way. Yeah, that's softer. Right about... Well, that's about as good as it's going to get, but you can see the text, the bigger text. The smaller stuff is still a little tricky to see, especially on camera. But even in person, it's really hard to see some of the details in the middle here. Yeah, so so what they have is it has Tulsa police and detective around the outside, and then there's I forget how many stars, but I did the research that I don't know what exactly the stars represent because those aren't part of the real Tulsa police badge. And then it says down here, this is part of the Watchman one too. It's Nos Custodimus, which is it's like the response to basically who watches the Watchmen. And then in the middle here, where you really can't see because it's all embossed and it's really tiny, is it's based off of the Oklahoma State Seal, which is a star that's 5 points that represents the 5 native nations that are part of Oklahoma. And there are, I want to say, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So there's 9 stars in each of the quadrants of the star. And so there's 45 stars, which represent how many states there were when Oklahoma got statehood, being the 46th state, which is what the star in the middle represents. And then for some reason, they decided on these badges, which is really hard to see on here. They decided that instead of what is normally in the center of the state seal of Oklahoma, they replaced it with the seal of the Cherokee Nation, which is one of the five tribes that's represented in the state seal, but they replaced the center with that one for some reason, which doesn't... There is no mention of Native Americans in the show at all, so it's kind of weird that they decided that. My theory is that whoever was designing it just randomly grabbed that and put it on there, and it doesn't actually have any meaning, but maybe it has meaning, but I can't find any evidence that it actually has any meaning in the show. Ooh, I haven't. I actually, so it is on my list, and the I'm not sure. So there was a comic book series, like it was probably in the '90s, um, called Warrior Nun Ariella, and I've heard that the show is very loosely based on it, which is what in my head was the first connection I made when I saw Warrior Nun, um, and the comic book wasn't great then, and by today's standards, it's pretty terrible. Um, and so when I first heard the show, I was like, "Oh gosh, that was a poor choice." But then everybody has said that it's really good, and the handful of people that I've seen online who actually have watched the show and know about the comics say that it like basically yeah like very 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 took like inspiration from the comic book, and it really doesn't have anything else to do with it. Um, yeah, so once I learned that part, I was like, okay, now it's on my watch list. So I haven't seen it yet, but it is on my watch list. I don't watch a lot of stuff, and so I'm pretty slow. We just watched Old Guard the other night, which everybody said was awesome and is pretty awesome. Lots of ass kicking in that show, in that movie. Um, yeah, we just watched it like 2 3 nights ago. I want to say. Um, it was really good. I liked it a lot. Um, I'm going to let's see. I have to do this is the tricky thing with streaming in the workshop is like I often have to do things that are noisy, like turn on the dust collection and use the belt sander. And I don't think anybody actually likes hearing those noises. So like I usually mute it while I use them, um, since you can't hear me if I talk over it anyway. But then it's on mute and it's silent. So I don't know if that's the best solution. Um, but I'm gonna put this on mute for like 5 seconds so I can sand this thing real quick. Yeah, that was what I was thinking. Is that yeah? If I had like, I need to look into like playing music even in the background while I'm talking that I can like yeah that I can just like turn up and then have playing while I mute stuff. I feel like that should be like some royalty free music of some sort though, so I don't get in trouble. Right. So right now I'm the using Twitch Studio because I had to set up a new computer and I didn't want to deal with setting up OBS again because the last time I set up OBS was a while ago, but it was kind of a pain in the butt. And So I was like, I'm just gonna try this, and for basic stuff, it's pretty good. I did re-download OBS though because it has a lot more controls and stuff you can do that I want access to, um, and so I am. Oh yeah, that's whoa. That's our royalty-free music that we use in our videos. Yeah, that's I downloaded the Streamlabs OBS instead of the regular one because I noticed that when I was on the Twitch page and I was like that's new and looks a lot more user friendly. Like it looks like it has pretty much all the same features, but they just it's kind of revamped and streamlined and walks you through and has templates and stuff. So I downloaded it on here. I just haven't had the chance to pop it open and like walk through it to see. But cool. Yeah, that's somebody the other day recommended that I go back to OBS to have more control, and so then I saw that, and so I downloaded it, and I'm glad to hear that other people like it too. That makes me feel a little bit better about putting in the effort to actually configure it. So this is the. Ooh, this is what I was sanding over there, just to smooth out the back. But this is the Ravager badge I was casting yesterday, and I'm gonna grab the magnet for it. Yeah, that was the one nice thing about Twitch Studio is again it's pretty basic, but it literally took me all of 5 minutes to get it up and running, which at the time was great because I I had planned to, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stream, and I was like, oh crap, all my stuff is gone. I need to reset it up, and I just need to do something quick and fast. And then of course, I was like, I'll go back later and fix it and switch back, and then I never did because so many other things to do. But so yeah, so on these badges, we do these magnetic name tag holders, and so it's gonna be upside down, but that's okay because again, there's not a real easy way to just flip the camera around on Twitch Studio. I'm guessing OBS is better about that. But so the nice thing about these magnetic name badges is so you take the backing and put it on the inside of your costume or shirt or backpack or wherever, and then it just sticks on there. Really, there you go. And it just sticks on there, and it's pretty because it's just that flat thing. It's pretty flush. Um, Today is going to be a good day, and yes, just upside down and. But yeah, so we love these name badge holders because I just stuck it on. They're super easy to put on, and they hold really well. And then unlike a normal pin, I mean if you're gonna glue, like some people buy these with no back on them and just glue them directly on the costume so it's permanent, which is fine. But if you don't want it to be permanent, I love these because then you're not poking holes in your clothes or anything like a normal pin back. So dig those. My coffee mug. This is definitely me. If I was gonna be a dwarf, it would definitely be grumpy. So, what I was gonna try is let's see if. No, not that. Audio mixer. Yeah, I don't think that's not gonna work. I'll have to play with that later. I was gonna look at and see if I could play the music that I have on here just direct through without it having to pick it up on the microphone, because otherwise, obviously, when I mute the microphone, you won't be able to hear the music. But it doesn't seem like there is a good way to do that in Twitch Studio. Yeah, I'll have to look at that later. Anyway, that's not exciting to watch me click on the computer when you can't actually see what I'm doing. So I will. It's gonna bandsaw this, but maybe I'll use the Dremel instead. Thank you, appreciated. I'm going to. So these are our. Talked about this a little bit the other day. These are our Ahsoka handguards, and the nice thing about them is they're just hand armor, and I mean, they're fine as is. You could use them for pretty much anything if you want to paint them up differently. We actually enough people were asking if they could just get the handguards because they want to use them for other things. So we put them up as a separate listing so you can get just handguards. But because they're resin, you can sand and cut these pretty much however you want. And so this one was actually, I had this idea originally because this was a bee cast, and it was really hot that day, and I was pouring the resin in, and it got about, you can see the difference in size, but it got about this high, and the top of this was kind of all and full of air bubbles, and the resin didn't all the way get in there, and I was like, well, if I cut that off, then I can have hand plates for my Mando that I'm making and not have to make separate armor, and then I can just paint to match the rest of my kit. So, and this was the set that I had poured, and this one came out okay, but it matches with this one, so I'm gonna cut it and make it match the other one. So, let's see here. Dremel time. All right, I'm gonna mute this again for a second. Man, my mute button is kind of sticky. But yeah, so since it's just solid resin, you can cut it pretty easily. I like to go slow when I'm cutting stuff just so it doesn't cut through and go crazy. So that's why I did like a couple of light passes at first to basically make a guideline. I had a line drawn there, and I went a little tiny bit above the line just so I had a little bit of room to smooth it and sand it out after the fact. Yeah, I know. A way from my hand. The last thing y'all want to see is me slice my hand open, right? I mean, I don't know. Some people might like seeing that, but I'm gonna try to avoid it. Scraping the seam lines. No, I think I need to get on the ASMR game. Do my little cosplay prop making ASMR. There's so many little noises and sounds that all the stuff we do makes. And especially the repetitive ones like scraping seams on resin that seem like they would potentially work well for that. Today, by the way, is only going to be about an hour. I have to do some other stuff not in the shop, and so I just wanted to get some streaming in, even if it's not the full time. I don't know if people like just kind of all day giant stream sessions where they can drop in and out, or if people prefer a more targeted smaller thing. Trying to figure that out a little bit. The one thing I do like about these raw resin casts versus the cold cast is it's much easier to scrape and clean up the seam lines because I'm not as worried. There's not a lot of seam lines on these pieces, but I don't have to worry about getting through the metal powder, which on ones that I'm finishing, not the end of the world because I'm gonna paint them anyway, even on the metal ones, but the more careful I am with scraping up the seam lines, the less touch-up work I have to do later. So, but on these, where I'm going to be painting the whole thing, I can go to town and not really worry about it nearly as much, which means it's easier and faster. By the way, these are a great addition to any workshop. They're these microfiber cloths that come in a almost like a tissue box where you can pop them out, but they're washable, which is nice, so you can reuse them a ton. But they're really nice because they're microfiber, and so they're great for like wiping down parts. See all that sawdust, and it just grabs it and pulls it right off, which is amazing, especially for keeping like dust and things off of your parts that you're working on. This will do. Just rounding off the edge here a little bit since it's a sharp cut. I'm going to put up a poll later today on our page to see what sorts of things people want to see on stream, besides just hanging out and seeing whatever the heck we're working on. No one wants dusty parts. Because we really like doing the, what I was calling the Quarren stream tutorials, where we kind of go in depth and show specific techniques, like as a focused kind of thing. So if there are any techniques or builds or anything that anybody wants to see, let us know one way or another, or wait until you see the poll up on our Facebook page and you can answer there. But reaching out through any of our social media and letting us know is helpful. Because then we can make sure we're giving you all the content that you want and not just what we think you want. Alright. I think those are pretty matched up. That one's a little bit longer still. That matches up pretty well there. Kind of hard to figure out exactly where that... Excuse me. Just score this a little bit. And then flip it over and do the same thing on this side. So that's lined up. Oh yeah, it's not too bad. Just need to, probably can't even see that. Just need to take off a little tiny bit there and go with the sanding block to... Oh, this is a fine sanding block. That's not going to go any faster than what I was already using. Let's see. Oh, here we go. This is another one of our absolute favorite tools is these sanding twigs. They come in a bag. They're on our, if you go to our Amazon tool and supply page, they're on there. But these sanding twigs are amazing. I swear by them. I have so many packs of these. And what's cool about them is each one of these bags, and they only cost like a couple of bucks, but each one of these bags comes with 20 sanding twigs. And they're completely random grits, so you gotta kind of like look for what you want, but like, you can see this is like a really smooth one. This is a really high or really low grit. So there's like, they come in a wide variety of different grits, and the nice thing is they're really great for just about everything. I probably use them more than any other sanding thing. But what's really nice about them is because they're so small and they're also pretty flexible, you can see. So like if you need to get inside, like inside edges, like if you need to get in, like I'll use them a lot. Like if I have to patch something on one of these, like, and they're flat and they're not they don't have sanding on like the bottom side. So like you can put it in a groove like this, and so it won't sand your base, but it'll sand the side. But like, so getting into like little cracks like this are great. They're just really great for so many things. Like on this, when I sand it in here, that's what I use because you can get inside there really easily. And like I said, they're flexible, which is nice too. They say they're washable, but I found that if you get them pretty wet, then they start to fall apart. You can kind of see, because it's just glued onto, they're basically like emery boards that are sliced up into little strips. But you can see after a while they start to peel off a little bit. And if you get them wet, that happens a lot faster, I've noticed. But also because they're pretty small and thin, you can snip off parts. So like sometimes I'll cut off. I tend to use a lot of the tip when I'm getting into small places, which I don't have a good example, but like so I'll use the tip, and the tip will get really worn down, and then you can just snip it off, and then you have a fresh edge. Or you can cut off a small piece if you want, just like a little piece to get into somewhere that even the stick is too big for, but that doesn't happen very often because they're pretty small. But yeah, they're really great, especially like, for something like this where it's literally the same thickness as this. And so I'm just right along the edge. This would probably be faster if I just use the Dremel, but trying to avoid having to mute it any more than I need to. Let's see if I can get both of these on at the same time. There we go. Oh, so those are my Mando handguards that are going to go with my helmet and my kit. Ooh, let's see if I can zoom out enough to bend to actually get the whole thing in here. There's my bucket. The camera's on this arm that... Oh, there we go. Ow, I didn't realize I could make it go that high. Huh. There we go. So there's my bucket. It's a Ursa Wren helmet. Oh, come on. Really? Now you want to focus way up here? There we go. I scraped all the seams, which weren't very bad at all. So I'm going to just do next step is do a light sandal over the whole thing, cut out the visor, and then it's ready for priming. Not a whole lot of work needed on this. This is from Lone Wolf Customs. Number 1, I got the first helmet. Not that it really matters, but that's pretty cool that I got the number 1 helmet. I am super, super excited. This is going to be my first helmet, my first Mando build. I have all the soft parts done. Now I have the bucket. I have my hand armor. I need to work on the rest of the armor though. But I'm excited at some point to get to wear a costume somewhere someday. Yeah, these cloths, I really like these cloths because, again, as I say every day, we're always trying to find ways to cut down on waste. And so, as you can probably imagine, we go through a lot of like paper towels, shop towels and stuff. And so anything I can do to cut down on that is great in my book. These are pretty ready to go. Get the softer one actually. I am doing this is going to be 2 sets of armor, of Ahsoka armor that I'm finishing. We have one is for a commission, and then the other one is for Heather. I mentioned this a few days ago, but one of the things that we've wanted to do for a really long time is we talked about gosh, this is like 2 years ago, I think. We talked about the idea of picking like a couple's costume of some sort and making each other's costumes, which especially for me is great because I'm terrible at finishing anything I make for myself, but I'm great at making things and finishing them when they're for other people, because I always put everybody else's costumes and things ahead of my own. That's how I am. And so I have lots of projects of my own that are in some state of progress and never getting finished. But so we talked for a long time, or we've been talking for off and on for a long time about costumes that we want to do together and that we could basically swap. And so we decided, since I'm making all of these Ahsoka parts and everything, hey man, thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. That's my nephew, by the way, for everybody. Everybody watching. But yeah, so we decided that we would do this on Ahsoka and Rex from the last season of the Clone Wars. So I am making Heather's Ahsoka as well as the commission. So basically, I'm gonna figure it all out and make two of the same costume in slightly different sizes, but it's still good practice and a good way to get it just right. So I'm making that, and then she's gonna make my Captain Rex. Nice. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So do you have your is your Discord directly connected to Twitch, or is it, I don't even know if that's a thing that you can do. I imagine you can. We actually do have a Discord channel. We just don't ever use it. It's not it. I set it up a while ago, and it's connected. We have like a Patreon only channel, which is why I set it up. But nice. Yeah, I really need to get on this whole sections and panels and doing a theme so I can have more stuff besides just the basics. I just need you to set up all my stuff. I could be mumbling and talking low too. Because I'm not facing I'm facing away from the mic. Let me see. It's low. Okay. Well, I can crank it up. I cranked it up. So let me know if that sounds better. So yeah, yeah, I just need you to come and set up all my stuff for me, and then I don't have to worry about it. Figured out. You come visit. Set up all my Twitch stuff. We'll make a costume together for you, or a prop or something as payment for services. I know you want to. Although I don't know if I can wait that long for... What game are you playing right now? I don't know if I can wait until the travel and virus is over to get my shit together. Dead by Daylight. Oh, my friend And I don't know who's on the stream, but she's sometimes she's in here lurking, but she loves that game. She plays it a lot. Nice. Yeah, I don't do horror, so I know you all are all about the horror. But so I don't know a lot about it, but I do know some. Do you know what you want from the game, or do you just you just want something, or do you have something specific in mind already? Cool. Well, we can talk about that. Are you not into the haunted houses and stuff? Cool, man. That works for me. Oh yeah. I don't know. So yeah, I know. I was gonna say, like I mentioned, he's my nephew, and my sister and her wife, like, they love that haunted house shit. Um, like more like I know lots of people who are into like the haunted house stuff, but I don't know anybody who's into it as much as they are. Like they try to hit as many as they can every year, and like the weirder and scarier and freakier the better. And like just nope, 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 no, thank you. I was. It's kind of funny, like sometimes like talking about something will trigger like a really weird memory, and I just remembered that there's this park that was by my house when I was a little kid, and they always did a haunted house every year. And I actually even I volunteered and I was part of the haunted house one year, and but like compared to the stuff that they do nowadays, it was so rookie and like not really scary. I'm sure I probably have told you stories that he's never heard because even though he's a grown ass man now, it's hard to it's hard to think of my nieces and nephews that like I took care of as babies as adults. I'm not looking forward to our kids being adults. I mean, I am in lots of ways, but just like that whole, it totally makes sense. Like as much as I hate it, like I get the whole parents who like are like, oh my baby, even though your kid is like 50 years old. I did used to wipe your ass. You're right. Well, I don't remember anything from when I was that young, but if you do, that's great. I guess I don't know. Oh yeah, I was changing your diapers from like the day you were born, man. How old are you now? 23? I suck at remembering people's ages. I barely remember my own. How old are you? 26? Holy shit. God. You know what? Like I said, I don't even remember my own age. Hey, at least you know where I am. Shit. Good luck. He's not gonna answer the phone. Welcome to family drama on Twitch. Our family's kind of weird. Our oldest brother, like, he just kind of does his own thing and disappears for long stretches of time. Yes, all families are weird. That's true. It's very true. Yeah, I'll go like it'll go like 6 months to a year, and he'll call me and leave a message about something, and then I call him back, and like it goes to voicemail, and then I call him a couple of times and leave messages, and then I'm like, well, I tried to call you back, and then like I don't hear from him again for like another 6 months. Yeah, and it's always like a 10-minute voicemail that he leaves. Like that's it. That's all. That's when he leaves a voicemail. Like don't expect anything beyond the voicemail that he left. I haven't told like one time I was like, hey, he called and he actually the last time he called like he didn't even really say why he was calling. Um, and I was like, hey, like you know I'm in the workshop working all the time, so if you want to just like call and we can like chat while I'm working or whatever, that's cool. I never heard back from him. Yeah, he never calls back and never answers. But speaking of like weird random things and riddles, the time before that, which I think was probably like a year or so ago, he like called and he was like, "Hey, I'm at this house and they're having like an estate sale or something." I think he was working. It was a job, but they were like getting rid of a bunch of stuff. He's like, "Oh, this lady's kid like moved out and left all this anime stuff, and I don't know what any of this stuff is, and if I should take any of it, and if I could sell it." and, and I was like, okay, cool. Well, give me a call back. Like, and I call, and he left a message. So I called him back, and I was like, hey, like, let me know, and I can try and help you and figure it out if you can give me like the names of something or what. But I never heard back from him, so I don't know if he took any of it, if he did anything with it, what it was. But he was just like, oh yeah, there's all kinds of like anime and toys and stuff, and I was like, dude, call me back. Don't know what happened to any of it. So are you all done with school now, or do you have more left to go? I know we were talking a little bit about your classes last year, but then everything kind of went sideways with the world, especially with education. Nice. Do you have any more classes with my friend in the near future? Yeah. Even for all of our kids, like everything is going to be online. They start next week, and oh, like I didn't mind taking online classes, as an adult and where like I was managing my own stuff, but for kids, man, it is a challenge. He's a kind of a weird guy, but he's cool. I need to follow up about his campaign. I don't know. So, to fill everybody in on what the heck we're talking about. So, the my first real D&D DM from way back in when I was in high school um, is a history professor. That sounds about right. Um, he's a history professor now who is also running for Congress in his district. Um, but he's a history professor now, and it just so randomly happened that my nephew here uh, got in one of his classes. And you found, I think, if I remember correctly, you had finished his class, and he said, "Hey, if anybody wants to, keep in touch, here, go check me out on Facebook." And then you went on Facebook and saw that I was a mutual friend with him, and you were like, "What?" Which is pretty funny. My favorite thing is that he will sometimes post without, like, snippets and not with any identifying information, of course, like stuff that students have turned in or said, um, like the bad students. And it's like some of the stuff that he posts, like it's just like it's no wonder the world is the state it's in when that's the sort of work that someone who is in college and paying for this education um, are doing. What I'm working on right now is this is the armor for Ahsoka from the last season of the Clone Wars. Yeah, these are her bracers, and then this is a modified version that I'm using, but this is the hand armor that goes with it. Move this back a little bit. There we go. So you can actually see what I'm doing. So what I'm doing right now specifically is, so when we cast these, this middle section here is really thin and inset. So like you can kind of maybe see, yeah, it's like maybe a millimeter thick. And so this gets cut out so that the light panel can go in here. Because they just pop in from the back. And we have this as for people who don't want to get a physical set of armor, we also have the files available. And on the files, it has two different versions. It has the version where this isn't a cutout, if you want to just paint it and make it solid. But there's also the version with the cutout and the light panel as separate pieces, all included in the downloads. So yeah, these will get cut out, and then the little light panel goes in the back. Actually, while we're talking about it, since I didn't get to do it yesterday, come on, battery. There we go. Yep, battery. Did you hear me say battery, or do you just know that's what I'm doing? So this is on the finished ones. It'll obviously be better than just. I just had these LEDs glued in here, and the these things stuck on here as a test, so I can just stick a coin battery right in there and light up the whole thing all at once. Ready? Here we go. Pew! Now, it's kind of washed out because, webcams. But in person, it doesn't look like it's all white. It actually looks... Yeah, the leads on the LEDs. There you go. I was like... I wanted to just call them LEDs. The LED. And I was like, no, that's not right. The leads on the LEDs. But yeah, so they'll light up, and it's actually painted, of course. And so in person, it lights up the right colors. It's just kind of washing it out on the camera. That's the problem with light up stuff on costumes. It always washes out on camera. Unless you're really careful or post-process or whatever. But in person, it looks really cool. But yeah, that whole thing can all operate off of a single battery. So what'll happen is on the actual finished ones, these will all be soldered together, and it'll be flush with just a battery and a switch in here. Cool. Have a good run. I'm gonna wrap up here in actually a few minutes, so I probably won't be here when you get back. But enjoy your run, and thanks for coming by, and thank you in advance for your help. But yeah, so it'll just be like attached in here, and then so what you would do is turn it on, and then it's gonna have straps that go around your arm. So turn it on, put it on. Whoa, cool, that's new. Since they come on and off really easily, there's like I could bring the wire and the switch all the way up to the top. Maybe I'll do that. I'll leave that up to Heather how she wants it, since they're hers and she's going to be wearing them. But since the straps are just going to Velcro on and off, like it's pretty easy to just Velcro it, switch it on and off, and Velcro it back on. But oh no, it's fine. I didn't expect it's the computer audio, because I was playing with music, and normally I don't have it on, but I turned it on because I was trying to see if I could figure out a way to get music going, and I forgot to put it back on mute, and so it was really loud, but appreciated, so no apologies needed. But yeah, so Heather, I don't know if you have a preference, if you care, but I could make it so that the switch is all the way up here, so you can get to it without taking it all the way off. You can just kind of off and on. Might as well do it that way, just to make it a little bit easier. It's not like it's a super ton more work. It's just a couple extra inches of super cheap wire. Yeah. I often need to talk something out loud, even if it's just to myself, to realize that I can improve on my idea. And also, welcome. Thank you for joining us, Mama Poe. So is that Poe like Poe Dameron, Poe like Edgar Allan, or none of the above? I'm always interested to know where people's names come from, if they care to share. If not, that's cool too. which just made me remember this really cool comic book series from a long time ago. Speaking of comic books, what was it called? It was all about Edgar Allan Poe. Nice. That works. Now I want to go look up that comic book series because it was really good and the art was really, really cool. And at the time it was different and unique from a lot of the stuff going on. That must have been in the 90s too. I think wherever you work must be pretty awesome if you have a crow at work, by the way. Crows are pretty awesome. Kind of amazing. It's pretty cool how, we keep realizing how smart animals are compared to how smart we have historically believed them or perceived them to be. Every time I see like a science article or something about crows, it's like some new amazing thing that they're doing that shows their intelligence and their society building. If I could have a crow and a red panda as friends, I would be set. Those are like my two favorite animals. $11.40. I'm probably, I think just to make it a nice even number, I think I'll go till $11.45 and then call it for now. That's pretty awesome. Just watching out for you. Make sure you get across safely. Let's see, that should fit in there. Yep, perfect. Bam. So that's how it goes in there. And let's see if this works. Probably not, but I'm going to try it anyway. Oh, it kind of works. Just using my flashlight on my phone. But you can see that it shines the light through pretty easily. Whoa, what are you doing, phone? Knock it off. So yeah, so those get in there. Those won't get attached until everything's all painted though, so I don't get paint all over them, but making animal friends. definitely need to mix up more of my Ahsoka blue paint because this is not going to survive me. Well, this might make it through these 4 gauntlets. I don't know. Maybe. It's going to be a stretch. I don't know. It sounds like maybe he needs his own like Instagram. There's so many like dog and cat Instagrams, but I keep like holding it too close to me and then you guys can't actually see what I'm doing. But yeah, so the way that I design these is so that these are super easy to cut out because it's so thin. You have content for ages. I would totally follow Poe on Instagram. Oof, that's a terrible noise though, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe the microphone cancels it out. I never know what noise canceling noise it's going to actually make more palatable. I don't know why this one is so much squeakier than the other one. The other one wasn't so squeaky. It's pretty terrible in real life. So I'm glad that it's not terrible filtered through the mic. It's like just a hair on this side of nails on a chalkboard in real life. I can almost feel it in the back of my teeth, but not quite. Dang it. Keep going off camera. Boop. There we go. Since my default position is off camera, I'll just move the camera so that it's on camera. Problem solved. Finish cleaning this one up and then pause for lunch break. I have something, I don't know, I have something on the schedule for tomorrow. I just don't remember what it is or when. I don't have it in front of me and my hands are a bit full. But we'll definitely be on again tomorrow. And like I said, for anybody who feel free to give us specific requests in the chat, but also if you have anything that you would like to learn about or see when we're working in the shop, let us know. I'm going to be putting a poll up on our Facebook page this afternoon. So if you have any ideas or thoughts or want to chime in, you can do that there, or you can reach out to us anywhere. Oh yeah, that's right. Tomorrow we have like a whole bunch of school-related things that we have to do. I think I accommodated for that on whatever I put on the schedule. Because school starts next week, so we have like supply pickup and iPad and computer pickup and all kinds of stuff to get ready for the apocalypse. Oh, that would be cool. Yeah. Right now we don't have anything like disabled or turned off in the chat. That will maybe change over time depending on how things go. link came through. I will click on it when I am done, but I'm sure Heather is already watching it. But yeah, so keep an eye out on our Facebook page for the poll if you want to contribute at all to what content we do on here. Otherwise, I think I'm going to plan a couple for... I'm going to work this weekend on planning out a couple of specific things for next week's streams that are more targeted and specific tutorials. I actually have a couple of foam things that I need to make. And so I think I'll do at least one that is specifically about making stuff with foam. Probably with Hazel's Sheikah slate that I'm going to be making them like 99% done with the template. I actually am done with the template as far as replicating the Sheikah slate as is. The only thing I need to do now is, because I'm making it specifically for her tablet to fit inside, now I have to figure out the right scale accommodation. I realized that her tablet, the dimensions are a little off from the dimensions of the actual Sheikah slate, and not, it's a different size, but it's also her tablet is a little longer than it is wide compared to the Sheikah slate, so I have to scale it like not uniformly to get it to fit right. But then I also need to tweak it a little bit so that it fits in and you can see the screen, but the whole tablet is actually inside. But that scaling shouldn't be too difficult. And then I just need to figure out where to put accommodations for being able to plug in the tablet, plug in headphones, control the volume, power button, all that stuff. So, because I'm going to make it so all those things are accessible from the outside without having to take the tablet out of the Sheikah slate to charge it and everything else. It will be removable though, so it's not permanently in there, but it will not need to come out for any reason other than because you want to. But yeah, so I should have that all done in the next day or two. I think working on building that on stream would be good because it covers a lot of techniques on using foam to make props. All right, let's see. Does it fit? Am I done? Moment of truth. Looks like that corner needs a little bit more taken off. This is actually another spot where those sanding sticks can come in handy if you need to just make some really fine adjustments on these, because it fits perfectly in here. So if I take this sanding stick and just sometimes it's hard to see with just the X-Acto knife if there's like a little corner that I didn't quite get scraped all the way off. It doesn't fit in the little tiny one though, but Now let's see. Voila. And it's in. 2 down, 2 to go. And with that, time to go get ready for lunch. Thanks everybody for coming by. And like I said, I'm going to work on a couple of things. One, I'm going to put the poll up on our page to see what people want to see. I'm